Yeah, we had a whole bunch of anti-Black people on the board, and they literally sought to remove all Black leadership in HISD.
Willie D. Live.
And the thing about kids nowadays and people nowadays, they're just not as resilient as we were when we were younger. I mean, we would go through so much. I mean, I remember in 10th grade, our house burned down because we didn't have electricity. We were using candles. We standing outside. I'm in the 10th grade. I'm the same height I am now in T-shirt and panties as the house is burning down. The rent house we were renting is burning down. And guess what? We went to school the next day. That's what I learned when I was little. Just because you had a fire and you lost everything. My mother dropped me off at my friend Wendy Pena. She dropped my sister off. By the grace of God, my mother was able to find the keys and get the car out the garage. Dropped my sister off at her best friend's house and talk to the parents. I wore my friend's clothes the next day at school. At school, people were like, Joe, I smell smoke. Do you smell smoke? Mind you, they smelling me. They don't know. And I ended up telling people our house burned down because we had an electrical short, when the truth is our house burned down because we were using candles, and I was too embarrassed to tell anybody that we were using candles. So, and I said before, I learned your house can burn down and you can go to school the next day. But people nowadays aren't built like we are. Or like we are.
Yeah,
like we
are. You've been in public service how many years now?
I got elected the first time in 2007. I took office in 2008. However, when I ran in 2003 and I lost that city council race, Councilmember Ada Edwards appointed me to the LARA board, the Land Assemblies Redevelopment Authority board. Yeah. So I was on the LARA board starting in 2004. So I guess technically like elected government service started in 2004. But you got to remember, my mother was an activist. So when I was a kid, we would go to Shape Center and we would bag groceries because Deloitte knew back in the 60s how important it was to have access to fresh fruits and vegetables. So he had what was known as a food co-op. They would get us all to give $5, family, and they would go buy a whole bunch of groceries, fruits and vegetables from somewhere, I don't know where, and he'd bring them back to Shape Center on Live Oak, and then I would be there putting the like 2 beets in every bag, cabbage in every bag, whatever it was. Peaches, like every week it was different. And so that's service.
Yeah, you were on the school board at one point.
Yes,
too.
I was.
That was a
worst
big
year.
mess, right?
We had a whole bunch of anti-Black people on the board, and they literally sought to remove all Black leadership in HISD. Yeah. And I was fighting with everything I learned in Third Ward to try to stop that.
And what did you learn about that experience that particular experience when it comes to serving and voting and stuff like that? Having to take a vote, because I'm not talking about your constituents. I'm talking about you guys have to vote on certain policy.
On everything.
Y'all got to vote on policy, right? What did you learn about, like, the process of voting on policy? What was the biggest takeaway?
I learned you have to pay attention. I learned that you need to go out to the people you represent to see how stuff is really affecting them, because a lot of times, by the time you're elected, you have reached a certain status, and so you may not be on the ground struggling like the people that you're voting on policy for. I learned that some people are not elected to help the people; they're elected
to help
themselves and their friends. Yeah. I learned that there are a lot of people that are like anti-Black. Anti-Blackism is real. Anti-Blackism is real.